Jason Palmer, one of the hosts of The Intelligence, The Economist's daily current affairs podcast. The Economist's award-winning shows make sense of what matters, from our special series on China's president to our weekly podcasts on business, technology, and American politics. Our journalists provide fair, in-depth reporting on the events shaping the world. To get the annual plan for less than $2.50 per month, search for Economist Podcasts Plus to start listening today.
Did you go to Dominican yesterday?
Yeah, we decided to ignore someone's advice when they said get a taxi because the beach it's a long walk. But we thought, well, the weather's lovely, so we'll walk.
Right.
But we walked and we walked and we walked, and it was getting hotter and hotter and hotter, and we couldn't see a beach in the distance. And we just said, you know what? We walked 10,000 steps. You know, we've got the old
in the Dominican.
Yeah, that was trying to find a beach, and then we walked another 10,000 steps going back. So and we were fucked. I mean, it was just so hot. Luckily, I put the cream on, and I always wear my hat.
Right.
And eventually, you know, my shirt's done up here, and I'm putting it up like this, and I'm just trying to hide away, vampire style, away from the...
Well, you're not used to it being from over there, right? It's all cloudy.
It's cloudy and rainy and dark at the moment, which is just how I like it.
Yeah.
It was too...
I mean, it's perfect for what you do, right?
Absolutely perfect for me, yeah.
How much of the environment plays into your music?
Oh, I think a lot, actually, because if I lived in the Dominican Republic, I wouldn't be writing My Dying Bride style material.
It'd be reggae.
Yeah, it'd be something like that. You are. But it's the history as well. It's not just the weather. Being a Northern European, the history is massive, and the variety in Europe as well. I mean, Europe's not that big. When you see all the tiny little countries, they've all got folklore and history.
Yeah.
And it's nice to be in and amongst that, and that does rub off when you start writing. The culture, the history, it seeps in. You don't necessarily have to go and find it and think, oh, there's a castle there that was run by King Edward IV, and he was defeated by Oliver Cromwell. Well, I'll write about that. You don't have. You can if you want, but it comes to you,
right? Just
by being in the environment.
So how do you, and this is not My Dying Bride related at all, but how do you think that plays into like newer nations like, you know, the Dominican, or because they don't have that sort of history, right? But then, I mean, that starts in like 1490s.
But sometimes it's nice to have a clean slate, because some people have a nasty history and they might think, you know, do you know what? It's not all glory. Yeah, I've seen some of the paintings on the walls there of generals, and you know, normally any country that has the word republic in its title normally has got some issues. But yeah, I mean, people of all these islands in the Caribbean, the Europeans, I mean, we came over and we made an awful mess. Right. We really made an awful mess. And we'll probably never be forgiven for it, and there's nothing we can do to make amends, but it is what it is, and just try and get along a little bit more than
I will tell you, everywhere I went yesterday in the Dominican, everybody's got the groove. The music is like in their soul, right? Everybody was dancing.
Yeah.
Everyone, all the shopkeepers, everywhere I went, somebody was dancing.
Yeah, we walked, as I say, we left that complex, the holiday resort area. And as soon as we walked out through security, there's a police car, and there's a scuffle going on over there. There's an animal dying in the street, and I'm thinking, fucking hell. It's nice to absorb other people's cultures, but that resort bit's quite nice. Do we have to go out here? And there's trash everywhere.
I know.
And we saw a car. It was smashed to pieces. The windscreen was all smashed up, and we thought it was dumped. And the guy got in it and drove off, and we couldn't believe it. We could not believe it. Sometimes it's nice to absorb other people's culture.
Also makes you thankful for what you have, right?
It does, yeah. It's a poor place. It was the same when we did when we did this cruise, I think it was 2016, we went to Jamaica.
Yeah.
And we were told, you can't leave this area unless you go in one of our minibuses, because we wanted to go to Montego Bay. We thought, oh, okay, fine. So we paid a driver and we left the complex, and we went through a fucking nightmare of a dump, which you don't see on TV. People think Jamaica, beautiful palm trees, golden sand, blue ocean.
Women, right.
We drove through a shithole, and then when you arrive at Montego Bay, it looks like the entrance to Jurassic Park. Huge security gates. Armed guards got on our bus, checked all our paperwork, and then the gates open, and we're in, and it's picture perfect. That's Hollywood right there.
That's the brochure.
But the rest of it, oh, fuck me.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, you know.
Anyway, My Dying Bride.
Right.
How's the cruise going so far?
Oh, I love it. It's amazing. This is our third time doing it, and it shouldn't be something I enjoy. I'm not an especially social person, and I'm not a big fan of hot weather, and I generally don't wear shorts and t-shirts. I like a shirt and I like a trouser. I don't know, I've got these fucking boots on there. My feet are hot as hell. So it shouldn't work for me. You know, the Northern European festivals, it's dark and it's raining, and that's our music. When we played in Midgardsblok, Norway, it was pouring with rain when we went on stage, and sometimes the crowd disappeared because they're fucking sick of it at that point.
But that is your backdrop, right?
They
It's like Odin shining down on you.
They loved it, and the atmosphere was amazing. And then, complete contrast, we're playing the pool deck in the Caribbean on a cruise ship. You still feel the audience, because it doesn't matter where I am, really, to be honest, because I'm lost in my own world when I'm on stage anyway. So it's not like I'm on the pool deck thinking, what the fuck are we doing here? Well, this is not our crowd.
So you're able to put that all out and just...
I'm in my own little world, and
where does that start, like just before? Or is that a couple hours before? About
an hour before, because I start to get nervous. But even after...
You still get nervous after all these years?
This is our 34th year, and... Well, in the olden days I was terrified. The terror is not as much as it used to be. Now it's just nerves. And it's difficult because when I get on stage, I'm not there to rock like all these bands. We've just seen Lord of the Lost. They're loving it, everyone's jumping and singing and shouting, and it's good fun, everyone's on vacation, and that's kind of how it should be. And then I wonder, why have we been invited here? Because we're not really here to entertain people. I think people come to see My Dying Bride for some sort of experience. And we don't get a lot of people punch in the air, and I'm absolutely fine with that. It doesn't bother me at all, because we're not that kind of a band.
Right.
But I come here because the first time we did it, we loved it. The second time we did it, we loved it. So now I've learned this is brilliant. So when we got invited this time round, it's just the food's great, the atmosphere's great, and they've got such a diverse mix of bands.
Yes.
It's not just, there's quite a lot of power metal, but there's all sorts of stuff going on. I've seen some really interesting bands who I've never even heard before, and I thought, that's great.
Yeah, that's what I did last night. I decided to just forego all the ones that I've seen every other cruise and say, I never heard of, I don't know. We were talking about the band the other night, Say or Soar.
Yeah.
I went and saw them again after you turned me on to them. Unfucking believable.
They were great. Yeah, they were good. The sound wasn't great, unfortunately, but they were great. And
did you see them last night?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw a band from Hungary. Can't remember the name.
Dalrida?
Yeah. I thought they were great. Really good.
And then, I don't know if you're a black metal fan, but I Am the Night just...
Oh, I didn't see that.
That's got the whole cruise for me so far. Like, one of the highlights is really good, like, old emperor sort of Norwegian.
Oh, okay, right. I've not seen those guys yet.
And then some band last night, December Noir.
Oh, I saw those as well.
Wow.
They were good,
That was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, that was good. I was a bit worried about them to begin with, because when I went in, and I went in early to get a good seat, because I'm an old man these days, I prefer not to stand.
You and me both, right? We talked about that the other day.
So I went earlier, and there was hardly anyone there, and I'm thinking, they're on in 5 minutes. Where the fuck is the crowd? And I liked them very much, but there wasn't a very big audience. But that, it doesn't bother me, but I sometimes feel for bands when the audience is not that great. But then I know exactly how that feels, because when we play that theatre tonight, it's a fucking big theatre. It'll be half empty or half full, depending on...
Right.
But, and I am fully aware of that, but we are not everyone's cup of tea. We will never fill that arena because people are here on vacation. They do not want to listen and see us moping about on stage doing what we do. So we don't fill these places. And for some people with egos, they'd be pissed off with that. For me, I fully expect it.
Right. Interesting.
Introducing Royal Caribbean's newest ship, Icon of the Seas, the ultimate family vacation. The ultimate 6 slides, 8 neighborhoods, 0 compromise vacation. The ultimate never done that, can't wait to do it vacation. The ultimate chillin' by a different pool every day of the week vacation. This is the Icon of Vacations. Icon of the Seas, arriving in 2024. Book today. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
I also think it depends on the billing too, right? Like last night, December was up against like Blind Guardian on the main deck, and you know, it's a power metal boat pretty much.
It is. That doesn't help. I mean, we had a chap earlier, and he was saying, when you played in Argentina, The Cure were playing on the same night, and that will have pulled some of your audience. Maybe the more gothic
right.
have all gone to see The Cure rather than My Dying Bride. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I don't care. I'll play to 3 people or 3,000. It makes no difference because I'm not there to do the fist pumping. I'm not there to do the let me see you do this. I don't do any of that nonsense because that's not
who you are.
It's not who we are. So I have to just go through the things that I go through, and I don't care who's watching. And I don't care if we get a raucous round of applause or a polite, who the fuck are you and what are you doing?
So then how do you, I guess some people can quantify the show by, or qualify the show by, hey, the crowd went crazy, or hey, there was, like Sodom, this many crowd surfers. How do you walk up the stage and say, that was a good one? Or do you never say that?
Well, for us, it's very rarely feedback from the audience. It's who fucked up on stage, or the sound quality on stage tonight was amazing. And because I'm lost in my own world, other members of the band will say, wow, did you see those people at the back? They were going crazy. I have no, and sometimes it'll be like, did you see that woman at the front? Wow, she was beautiful. And I'm like, no, I didn't. I was oblivious to everything that was going on. Apparently there's a fight after our performance for one of the plex. So Andy or Neil threw out a plectrum, and 2 guys are fighting for it. I never saw it. People told me afterwards, because even at the end of the gig, we have nothing more to give. I can't snap out of it. So I wander off stage in a daze, and I have to do some, not breathing exercises, but in order to come back to civilization.
So would you equate to like character acting, like you're in it and then...
Yeah, because we came down the stairs, and the fans have almost got access to you immediately.
Right.
And the rest of the band are signing shit, and I'm just stood behind a pillar like some stupid, like I don't know how to, I'm lost. And I'm just trying to return to reality.
Decompress of some sort?
Yeah, and then when I'm ready, I go and sign some stuff and have a photograph taken.
Not that you're opposed, you just got to get your shit together.
I don't know what posing means. I can't pose. I've become the characters I've written about.
Right.
And for the most part, the characters I've written about are having a torrid time. And I don't want to take on that mantle. I don't want the burdens of the characters. But it just comes out.
She's going to kick me out of here. But do you have a problem with separating that sometimes in real life?
No, because you an hour before we go on stage, I can feel it coming, and we don't even talk in the dressing room. You know, it's almost like we're preparing for war. You remove your daytime clothes and you start to put on. We don't dress up. You know, we don't have a uniform, but we have to detach ourselves from our daytime selves. So we literally shed our clothing, put on your stage clothing, and you start to become the band. And I start to feel the energy of the characters I've written about coursing through my veins, and it starts to make me grumpy and a little bit angry, and it's just
needed for that persona though, right? And for the voice and for the whole thing, right?
I almost wish it wasn't there. I want to go on stage and enjoy myself, because I see it. Bands are loving being here. They're loving it on stage. They're loving the interaction with the audience. And I sometimes think, I want some of that.
Before she nails me, is it cathartic though?
It is, because about an hour after the show, I feel great. I feel absolutely great. Something's come out, and you're not a better person, but you just feel better. And you almost think, I needed that. I didn't realise it at the time, but I needed that, and now I feel great.
And probably the people that are there, maybe not full place, but they probably did as well.
Oh, I hope so, yeah. I do hope so. We had very positive comments. Anyone who saw the show, they're like patting you on the back saying, that was amazing.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
It's incredible, yeah. So it's strange, and you just think, well, I hope you enjoyed it, because I haven't got a clue what was going on stage. And we had some technical issues as well, which don't really bother me, because I don't play an instrument, and I don't know how to help. So I just stand there going, are we going on stage yet? So that will bother the musicians, but it doesn't bother me, and everyone seemed to think it was a great show anyway. So
yeah, absolutely.
I just have to take their word for it.
Well, cool. Appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.
As always.
Cheers, thank you.
And I'm sure I'll be hitting you up at some point for as we go through the year.
Oh yeah, no problem.
And I too am going to do the selfie and be done, so she doesn't yell at me. Yeah. We had it coming twice for sore, or however you say it.
Ever wonder what a punch from Elton John feels like?
Or how you'd cope with having turned down the chance to be in Nirvana?
Or what signal Keith Richards gives when he wants you to get the hell out of his hotel room?
Fans of Too Much Effing Perspective don't have to wonder, because they've heard these exact stories and a jillion others on our podcast. I'm Alex Hoffman, former tour manager for Radiohead.
And I'm musician and comedy writer Alan Keller. On the TMEP show, we get guests like Nancy Wilson from Heart, Jeremiah Freites from the Lumineers, and Modern Family's Julie Bowen to tell us things they may have only shared with their therapist, clergy, or a TMZ stringer.
So join us on Too Much Effing Perspective. That's EFFING Perspective. The only podcast you crank up to 11.